The argument for God's existence from the fact of evolution. Now, before I begin, I do have to offer a disclaimer. I am still trying to figure out whether or not I personally accept that evolution is a fact, that evolution has occurred. I don't know that I can agree with that. I may not. I'm a lot more open to it now than I was years ago, but I'm not totally willing to uh, admit that at this point in my life. So when I talk about evolution being a fact, I'm using that as a rhetorical device. I don't actually think necessarily that evolution is true. It may be a fact of science, it may not be, it may have occurred, it may not have. Alright, so that's the disclaimer. One of the foremost leading evolutionists of all time, that has also been a popular spokesperson for evolutionary science, an authoritative popularizer of evolutionary biology, is without doubt Stephen Jay Gould. And he unfortunately has passed away, but while he was alive, he was one of the top dogs. Gould, I am told, was an atheist, and yet he spoke in favor of a separation of church and science. Not church and state, but church and science. And this is the infamous NOMA, or non-overlapping magisteria. I do not personally agree totally with NOMA, but I can agree with the late professor that in evolution, I can agree with him in his belief that and statement that evolution does not prove that atheism is true. So he's an atheist and an evolutionary biologist, but he says that evolution does not prove atheism. I agree with that. Atheism for Gould was not a matter of mere scientific evolution. But I think that Gould's approach to evolution can be used as a theistic argument. Of course, this is not in keeping with the non-overlapping magisteria ideal, but as I said, I don't accept the non-overlapping magisteria. And this argument is, I think, not original to me. Bill Craig, for example, had said something similar to what I'm about to say, and also Alvin Plantinga has offered a similar, though very different, argument against a epistemology based on atheistic evolution. But I think my presentation is going to be a bit different than Bill Craig's. So the content is not original, but the presentation is, I think. According to Gould, the biological chips could have fallen very differently. There were so many little things that happened along the way, things that didn't need to happen, that made life as it currently is turn out the way that it did turn out. I think this is what Richard Dawkins is getting at when he talks about climbing Mount Improbable. According to neo-Darwinism, as I understand it, the French poodle is just as highly evolved as modern man, and it is sometimes said that there is no purpose, no progress, no design, no direction, no intelligent guidance to evolution. But I do not think I can fully agree with this. Think about it. First, it is said there were single-celled organisms, then multicellular life. The multicellular life changed over time, we are further told, culminating in man. There really cannot be any doubt that human beings are better in some sense than other animals. We normally don't eat other human beings, but apart from vegetarians, we do eat other animals. While there may be something like a rudimentary rationality and emotionality in certain other animals, it comes nowhere near the levels in humankind. And for that reason alone, we are the crowning achievement of evolutionary progress. So single cell to multicellular, and the multicellular became more and more complex over time until the complex human brain and or human mind appeared on the scene. Moreover, the timing on everything had to be just right. One example to illustrate this is the um, let's see, dinosaurs. Dinosaurs, some of them at any rate, were very large and very ferocious meat eaters. It would be rather dangerous for we humans if the T-Rex were still around, and what just so happened to occur before the evolution of modern man: the mass extinction of the dinosaurs. We don't have to worry about them stepping on us or eating us on the one hand, and on the other, we have the technological advantage of using their remains in the form of fossil fuels. The dinosaurs ruled the earth, but were taken out of the way, it seems, to allow for more highly evolved animals to take their place in the great biological scheme. Now, by more highly evolved animals, I mean a species that has been evolving for a longer period of time. Anything that's alive today has been under evolutionary processes for longer than animals that went extinct thousands of years ago, like the dinosaurs. Of course, they weren't the same species throughout all this time, but that's just how we can think of it conveniently. Alright, there's another example I have, which I'll get to in part 2. Thank you.